Anthony El Toro Birchak on the phone. How are you doing, Anthony?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good, I think. We just got done talking about a couple of things that rub us the wrong way, so we're gonna kind of dive right into some of that in a minute here. But before that, we have a gigantic card in Mexico City going on tonight, and we kind of wanted to get your opinion on that. I know that Kirby and I have our opinion. Mexican MMA or American Mexican MMA. Seems like a lot of people don't talk about it, like it's mostly overlooked, but we have Cejudo, who is a rising star, a phenom as a matter of fact. We have Gastelum, who is just coming off of his biggest win. And we have the king of the world, Cain Velasquez, coming back after his long layoff to fight Verdum. So why don't you kind of give us your opinion on this? This could be kind of a pivotal moment for Mexican MMA fans, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think you got my former college wrestling teammate, Efren Escudero, who's, you know, on his third run in the UFC. He's coming off of a big win out there in Broomfield, Colorado. So him coming back and being able to fight in Mexico, I know it means a lot to him. And I think it's really cool to see these Mexican-American athletes really, really make a stand. I mean, for so long, you know, we've always said Arizona is a hotbed for mixed martial arts, and for whatever reason, over the last 6-7 years, we've just produced some of the top athletes in the UFC. You know what I mean? You got world champions. Dominic Cruz is from Arizona. You know, he's from Tucson. You got John Moraga, who fought for the world title. You know what I mean? We are definitely producing some of the best Mexican-American athletes in the nation.
What do you have to say about that, Kirby?
I agree with him, man. I agree with him. I think there's a lot of talent coming out of Phoenix, and I think that this show tonight will be pivotal for Mexican mixed martial arts in general. I think that either way, if the show just goes down, it's going to be a big deal. But if Cain has a big win tonight, I think it's the type of thing that can literally, like, change shit in Mexico. I think you have a lot of young guys that'll leave the arena tonight and go start training immediately if they, like, witness something great tonight with Cain.
Well, isn't there a story you were talking about earlier that's kind of analogous to this? We've got the largest mouth in the UFC, Conor McNuggets, and he sat in on a UFC event, and you were telling me, Kirby, that was his story. He saw the Irish guy get smashed out and was like, nope, I can do this, and took off to the races, right?
No, exactly. That's exactly what happened. He's seen that first event in Ireland. He was live at that show, man, and just seeing all that there, being there, knowing that it's real and it's actually obtainable. He said that he left and started training immediately. I think you're going to see a lot of young Mexican men tonight that get that same vibe, like, hey, Jack, I can do this shit. I can get rich fighting. It's right here, right now.
Absolutely. I just to add to that, you know, you always hear it in boxing, a Mexican fighter, you know what I mean? A Mexican-style boxer, some guy that's willing to sit there and stand and bang. A shameless little plug, right?
Hell
so,
yeah.
You know, that's true though. You know, you're starting to see Mexican fighters in MMA. You're starting to see that Mexican style come in. Diego Sanchez, Gilbert Melendez. You know, that is now synonymous with Mexican fighters. So you know exactly what you're gonna get when these Mexican American guys and now just straight, you know, athletes from Mexico step in the cage. You know, I'm very, very, very close friends with Gustavo Pols, who has one of the biggest organizations there in Mexico, in Hermosillo, Mexico. It's called Mexico Fighter. They've produced some of the top guys. You know, they got Bellator, World Series of Fighting, UFC guys. You know, a lot of them that come out of that Entrum gym from Mexicali and Seal. Those are the guys like Diablito, Teco, you know, and the list, Chilito. Like, there's a lot of these guys that have already been developed and now gone off to super camps like Jackson's or Izzy Style Wrestling in Chicago. And adding that ground game to a Mexican fighter is you're creating a monster, because one of the biggest things they probably lack is jiu-jitsu and wrestling. You know, everyone knows they got good kickboxing, good boxing, but now that they're getting so much more well-rounded, they are literally creating the next wave of UFC champions.
Absolutely. And just to be a little bit of an ass, do they pronounce it jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu. Yes, they do. It's hilarious. I crack up every single time.
That's great. Sorry, I had to play devil's advocate there. Kirby gives me.
Oh, no worry. Yeah, they do it. They say jiu-jitsu, and I laugh. I laugh all the time because I know I know what they're trying to say, but it just gets me every single time.
All right. Well, staying on the whole Mexican-American thing, the Mexican heritage, we have a guy, Eddie, over at Crossbones MMA who's very proud of his Mexican heritage, and why not, right? I think all of you guys are very proud of that. So, Verdum kind of came out and started a little bit of a hornet's nest, and this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier with things that kind of, went haywire there. He came out and he said something about Kane being a fake Mexican or an American that wants to be a Mexican. But then when we saw him down in Mexico, that's not what the Mexican population thought. What are your feelings on that? You're born in America, but you have this heritage, and it's a very tight, a very loving heritage, and you guys are so proud of it. What did you think about Verdum's comments about that?
That's like saying, any Brazilian born here in America is a fake Brazilian. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you're going to speak Portuguese. I'm sure you're going to eat, your dishes of your homeland. It's not fair to say, but I know what he did. I thought what Verdum did in the first fight against Mark Hunt was very ingenious. That guy speaks Spanish, fluently and to perfection. And I know for a fact that Kane isn't as fluent, a lot of people think, and I've heard a lot more people saying that I speak, I'm fluent, but I still have some certain things, but, it's just weird for him to do that, because he could have one drop of blood in him that's Mexican, and still the Mexican people in Mexico City are going to embrace him as their child, I don't know what he was trying to do with that. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish, but I thought him being able to articulate and speak perfect fucking Spanish on the first Mexico card really did give him a fan base there in Mexico, and someone to root for since their champion was gone. But now he's back, and they're not going to be rooting for Verdum. I can tell you that.
Right. You said it right there. The reason they were rooting for him the first go round is because he was fighting Mark Hunt.
Yes.
Tonight that won't be the case, Jack. I don't care how good a Spanish he speaks. When Cain comes in the building, they're going to be going crazy. So.
Oh, exactly. So like I said, I don't care how good the Spanish, you're speaking. You did good, and you did get a fan base there for that night. But now the sun is back, and you're not going to have the support that you once had.
No, absolutely. And Mark Hunt is from New Zealand, so when he came out with that accent, everybody in Mexico was like, "K? What the hell did this guy just say?" But yeah, Kirby, what are your feelings on that? I know you love it when the shit pot gets stirred. So do you like Verdum's antics?
I didn't love that, I guess. Like Anthony said, I guess it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's kind of like him shit talking him for no reason. But in general, I do think that it stirred something up. I do like for there to be some kind of heat going into it. So, and not just that though. Like we was talking about before, it's almost like, I love the thing they got going at AKA, Kane, DC, Luke Rockhold. They all, like Luke doesn't really, mess with Verdum like that. So they all kind of got this little shit going with him. It keeps it interesting. You know what I'm saying? Kane's not the type of guy that's going to talk any mess. Kane's almost like Fedor. He don't say shit. He just imposes. But it's cool that, they got this little shit going. I mean, it was a little something, I guess, for us to talk about, right?
Yeah, of course. Now, Anthony, are you a fan of boxing?
Not anymore. Not really. I mean, I got, one of my training partners, Chris Algieri, he's fought, Pacquiao and Amir Khan lately, and I mean, that's the only time that I really watch boxing or keep up with boxing is to see how Algieri's doing.
Well, we were just talking earlier about the whole, DC coming up to Verdum. It was almost like a Shannon Briggs and Klitschko maneuver where he was like, "Hey, you should have kept your mouth shut." And I don't know. I just thought it was a little bit fabricated. I know that Verdum talked a little bit of smack. What do you think about the whole thing with AKA kind of bullying on Verdum?
You know what, man? I think people that force it make it look stupid and fabricated. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
But someone that shit talking that comes naturally, like me and Connor, that shit doesn't look fabricated. You know what I mean? So if you can talk shit, and if you can't, just back it up with your technique and don't, you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna force the bad guy role, you're gonna look like an idiot.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think that DC, since he got the gold, he lost part of his mind, and now it's all the listen to me, I'm the champ talking. And then when he came up, just like you said, Kirby, they were joking by the end of it, man. Just like with Ben Rothwell. If you're gonna do some crazy bad guy I don't know, Jedi Force stuff or whatever, you got to stay in character. You can't laugh and joke about it later and be like, yeah, you see that shit that I did? That was awesome, wasn't it? No, either you got to stay in character or you don't do it at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, talking about some shit talking, and I know you probably don't want to hear about this anymore, but I didn't get a chance to talk to you after this happened. I interviewed you before the Entwistle fight, and you guys were going back and forth. You were a good shit talker. He's a good talker, and I think he might only be playing with 48 cards in his deck because his kind of comes off a little bit violent and scary. But you were very creative. Now, I do have to ask you this. He was telling you the whole time, man, I'm going to grab your ankle. I'm going to grab your ankle. I'm going to grab your ankle. And then he grabbed your ankle. Did you have like an, shit moment when that happened?
Yeah, I'm like, God damn it. Now he's fucking right. You know what I mean? Like, that, it was dumb. We knew it was going to happen, you know? The unfortunate part was that he had one horse in the race. He bet on it and the fucker came through, you know? So I felt like a dumbass. I showed how immature I was, how low fight IQ I had in that fight. And I usually pride myself on being a high fight IQ fighter. But I just was so anxious to get my hands on this bastard that I just everything kind of just evaporated in my brain. And I wasn't nervous. I didn't have the UFC jitters. I was more amped up to a detriment that it completely brain wiped my entire game plan. And, someone said it was like the first time I was getting pussy. I was just so amped to get in it that I fucking got in it and I busted off real quick, you know? And then someone said hopefully his second time around, you know, he can warm up the oven and slide into a nice UFC win. And I did, you know, I took, as crude as that analogy is.
Best analogy ever.
Best analogy. I took it very, very seriously. And I did compose myself in the second fight. I did show a lot of patience and maturity and you know, just to go back to Ian, I was pissed, you know, because 9 times out of 10, that dude doesn't stand a chance with me, you know. That 10th time came on, you know, the night that he needed it the most.
Now that we have that out of the way, and thank you for being so honest, because I knew that you had to be like you gotta be effing kidding me right now moment. But anyways, Kirby, you
know me, man. I can be brutally honest with myself, you know, and of course you know, I was a dumbass, you know, and I mean, I just spaced the fucking game plan and tried to just go Hulk smash on this guy instead of being a conscientious intellectual, you know, athlete.
Well, Kirby, I know you want to ask him about the current fight, which turned out a hell of a lot better than the one with Enty.
Yeah. Before you brought it up and put us on a somber note, I was going to bring it around to the fact that he got to it, though. Actually, in your second fight, man, you came out and completely redeemed yourself. You actually did what the bantamweight champion took 5 rounds to do in 1 round. So obviously, your first fight was not, you know, the way you wanted it to go, but surely that second fight turned out the way you wanted it to go.
Yeah, you know, I'm extremely proud of myself for what I did and what I showed in that fight. You know, I reminded people that I am the same dominant bantamweight that I was in 2013 when I won the MFC World title. I'm still the guy that you know, had a fight of the year candidacy with Ryan Benoit. You know, I'm still the guy that knocked out, you know, Matt Leva at Jackson's MMA series. I wanted to remind people that I am not, you know, that heel hook loss was not a accurate reflection of the type of athlete or monster that I am. You know, I know I can be the world champion. I know that they made the wrong call on moving Joe Soto up that night in Sacktown. You know, I truly believe that this is now the step in the right direction and the first step for me towards a UFC belt, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So now, but like judging how the champion did with Joe Soto and judging what you did to him, where do you place yourself in the division? Where do you see yourself?
I don't know, man. Like, I thought it was bullshit that they gave Joe Soto a top 14 ranking after losing to the champion. You know what I mean? So
True.
If I beat that guy, where does that really fucking put me? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I really like to be in the top 15. You know, definitely top 20. You know, there's some guys that I think I match up really well with in the top 15 and top 10. And, you know, depending on what we can do with my contract and renegotiating, either I fight somebody that makes sense for the amount of money that I'm making now, or we step up and I fight somebody that, you know, that propels me into that title picture.
Well, that's right. And we all know that MMA math doesn't work worth a damn and UFC rankings are pretty,
exactly.
pretty terrible. But I do want to bring out one little point. Joe Soto was in trouble, and I saw that he tried for that heel hook. Do you think everybody you fight now is going to try to grab your foot?
Yep, absolutely. I think that's going to be a very common theme, and I've been getting very, very good at stopping heel hooks. And just a little warning to everybody out there, I got some leg lock games of my own now. You know, I got a great BJJ instructor. I've learned a lot of new things. You know, the best way to defend, you know, the heel hook is not to even play the game, you know, but if you have to jump back into that pool, I'll definitely be able to swim proficiently.
Yeah, did you hear that? That was like a Miyagi thing. Best way to defend heel hook, not be there.
Yeah, that's
not
absolutely.
be there, yeah.
All right. So, I thought it was kind of sneaky of Joe Soto. You snuffed him out real quick. He looked really sad after that fight. I think he expected that to turn out differently. Now, you were talking about your contract and what you would like next. Now, forget the rankings and all this. I saw somewhere that you want Aljamain Sterling.
Yes, I mean, that's true, you know, because, and he got all sour about it that I said it at the post-fight press conference, you know, but I think from a fan's perspective, we move very similarly, we wrestle very similarly, you know, we do a lot of the same things. I think that's a fun fight for the fans, and it's beneficial for both of us, you know, especially myself. So if I can knock off someone like Aljamain Sterling, not only did I say, hey, bantamweights, I'm here by knocking out Joe Soto, now I'm saying, hey, bantamweights, I'm coming for your top spot by taking out Aljamain Sterling. You know, I don't have any animosity or any malicious intent. I didn't call him out with any malicious intent. I just said, you know, I think that's a cool fight, and it would be something that I would enjoy to participate in. So yeah, we're friends with Aljo. He's a friend of the show. And he was like, oh, he tweeted me back. He tweeted me back, and he was like, fuck out of here. You don't want this static hashtag I'm the real champ or something like that. And I was like, man, I hope I didn't piss you off or offend you. You know, if this was checkers, we would play checkers. You know, if this was, you know, a race, we would race, but we fight, and that's what we would do. So, I mean, you know, he came at me kind of sideways, and I just wanted to let him know that I'm not calling him out because I don't like the guy or malicious intent. I just see a tremendous opportunity for a fight of the night fucking bonus and a way to get me into the title picture. Well, I'll tell you what. Aljo's Twitter game is Jedi level. So you get right back in there, because we kind of have a little thing about getting guys with Twitter beefs on the show. So I'll tell you what, let his hernia heal up. You rest a little while. You guys call each other knuckleheads over on Twitter. We'll have you both back on in the same time, and we can have a hell of an interesting show. See, and that's the thing is, like, I would just, you know, with Aljamain, it would all just be, we used to call it like be roasting your friends, right? Like, someone put up a meme the other day, and it was like a picture of your school lunch table, like cafeteria lunch table, and it said, we're in line, you know? So, like, that's how I see it. It would just be completely playful and banterful with, you know, with Aljo, because, like I said, I respect the dude. I think he's a tremendous athlete, great wrestler, you know, and with Ian and Ryan, it was literally a little bit more personal. Ryan called Mercedes a fat ass, you know, and then, you know, Ian said something to Mercedes, so I literally went at it with, you know, with full horns on that one. I had Ryan Benoit so pissed off, man. I tweeted a little video clip of, when the Munchkins are walking down the yellow brick road, and I said, hey, I found one of your highlight videos, and he got fucking heated, right? So, yeah, see, that's the kind of shit talk that I like. I like just like little jabs, you know what I mean? Like just grilling dudes. So I think I don't really want to necessarily go into an actual beef, you know, but I think that shit gets fun sometimes. Oh yeah, we had Elias Theodoro and Sam Alvey. Nothing serious, you know what I mean? Like you said, if it's fabricated, it's not fun. But if guys get together and they can generate some interest and some laughs, that's the best kind of Twitter beef there is, don't you think, Kirby?
Absolutely. And you know what the difference is? He just said it. They don't play chess. They don't play basketball. They fight. So they can get together, they can have a little fun, talk a little shit, but then when they get in the cage, they're going to for real fight. So that makes it all worth it, regardless of what the lead up is. Well, you always said that that's your favorite part of the shit talk, right? Is because somebody's got to be put on blast, and you're going to have to back up the bullshit that you talk. Absolutely. This ain't no bullshit. It's not the WWE. Like, you got to get in there and flat back that shit up, or you're going to get your ass whooped. So talk all the shit you want to, fabricated or not, leading up to it. Come fight time, put up or shut up. I love it. Yeah, so my UFC debut, Burt Watson said some amazing shit, and it was like, yeah, I have it on video, but he was saying how go out there and fight with your heart, because if you fight with your ass, you're going to get it handed back to you. And I was like, damn, that's some cold-ass shit right there. Oh, man, I miss Burt Watson in the UFC. Well, Anthony, it's almost fight time tonight. By the time this drops, it will already happen. But why don't you tell us, what is your favorite fight tonight in Mexico City?
My favorite fight tonight in Mexico. I'm a big Dodger Montano fan, man. I want to see that Capo Pendred and Montano fight. I want to see. I got a couple of the training partners on there. You know, Henry versus Chico, Patrick Williams versus Diablito, and then Efren Escudero. Like, he's had such a long career, already, and he's been in the UFC, Ultimate Fighter winner, and then he got kicked out, and then he's back in, and now he's back. He's out again, and now he's back in. So I just want to see the guy do good. And anybody from Arizona, man, like you said, there's so many Arizona guys on this card that it's like, how much more star power could you put on it from a local person? I'm a local fan. First and foremost, I'm a fan of the sport. That's why we can talk like this and analyze stuff. But I just want to see the whole card is just stacked, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. All right, before we let you off, I know that everybody's always trying to build their social media. Why don't you tell your fans how to connect with you over there?
Yeah, hit me up on Twitter and on Instagram. I'll be doing some giveaways here soon, leading up to International Fight Week. I want to link up with as many fans as I can in Vegas. So if you guys are heading out to International Fight Week, follow me at Birchak MMA on Twitter and Instagram. And Facebook fan page is facebook.com/Anthony Birchak. Shoot me a message, shoot me a comment, shoot me a tweet. I'll definitely get back to you guys. I respond to everybody, or at least try to, and I definitely want to, connect and meet up with fans there in Las Vegas during the Fan Expo. So hit me up, guys, at Birchak MMA. That's Birchak MMA.
All right, awesome. And Fred, how do they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Kirby_MMA and at Gym City Fighting.
All right, you can find the show at Stand and Bang Radio over on Twitter. You can find us at Stand and Bang MMA Podcast on YouTube and Facebook. You can find us at standandbangmma.com. That's our own website. If you come across this show on Reddit or any of the forums, make sure you check out our previous episodes. We have had some fantastic guests. And Anthony, sounds like you got some family coming home, so we're going to let you off the phone, man. Thanks for being on.